Hey everyone, welcome to Sideshow's First Look. Today we're taking a look at the Black Widow's 6-scale figure by Hot Toys from the film Black Widow. The box is a slipcover design. The front and sides feature a field of angular panels in tones of black and neutral gray, dominated by an offset blood-red Black Widow hourglass. The interior of the hourglass forms a window, through which we glimpse a 3/4 portrait of the Black Widow herself. The front and the sides also feature title treatments identifying the figure, as well as the movie from which it came. Pulling off the slipcover reveals that complete portrait of Black Widow, clad in her tactical costume with burning embers hovering menacingly behind. The sides of the box feature the film's logo, punctuated by bright red crosshairs, while the back features a photo of the figure itself, confidently posed on a field of red with expandable batons in hand. Additionally, the front of the box wraps around to a gatefold, which leads directly to a window, giving us our first glimpse of the figure within. Opening the box reveals that Black Widow is packing some heat. There's the figure right there in the center of the clamshell, and she's surrounded by a wide assortment of weapons. Front and center sits the Taskmaster shield, as well as Widow's signature pistols, her battle batons in both static and articulated modes, some swap-out parts for those batons, and a wide assortment of hands. Additionally, just beneath Widow's legs, we glimpse a Black Widow-themed hexagonal base. Alright, once the figure and its accessories are out of the box, we have a clearer idea of just how formidable this figure is. There's Black Widow in the center, clad in her black tactical suit and standing atop that decorative base. Her familiar battle batons, now with an articulated option, rest right here beside her, as well as this additional set of tips for the batons, which can fit either the static or articulated versions. Over here we see the Taskmaster shield as well as Widow's pistols. And arrayed up front we see the assortment of 8 additional hands, including 2 pairs of gesturing hands, a pair of pistol hands, and a pair of gripping hands for the batons. Now let's take a closer look at the Black Widow figure, starting with the head. The portrait of Scarlett Johansson is on point both in terms of sculpt and paint apps. The extra fine details in her hair lead to the back, where we find multiple sculpted braids holding it in place. The baton butts are removable for the sake of continuity when utilizing either version of the fully extended batons. And their back-mounted holster, as well as the 2 pauldrons, feature some attractive red reflective highlights. The costume is a multi-paneled soft goods pleather combo with the fabric panels strategically placed to maximize range of motion. The belt and the wrist launchers are tricked out in tones of gold, providing an attractive contrast to the Black Widow hourglass at the buckle. Finally, the calf-high combat boots are split at the ankle, allowing for a solid range of motion when posing. Speaking of range of motion, let's find out what this figure's got. The head is attached by a ball joint to a double ball jointed neck, the lower joint of which is seamless. As such, the head can look down almost a full 90 degrees and look up a decent amount as well. In addition to a decent amount of lateral lift, that second joint in the neck will allow the head to shift laterally, anteriorly, and posteriorly. The shoulders in the figure will easily allow for 90 degrees of lateral lift, as well as 180 degrees of anterior lift, and more than 90 degrees of posterior lift. The double-jointed elbows can hit about 130 degrees of contraction, and a break at the top of the bicep will allow you to rotate the arms as you see fit. Ab crunch is respectable to the front, as is the figure's ability to lean from side to side. And of course, we get a remarkable amount of torso twist. The hips of the figure will allow for just shy of 90 degrees of lateral raise, while allowing for just over 45 degrees of anterior raise, and about the same amount of raise to the back. The double-jointed knees allow for about 145 degrees of contraction, and a break at the thigh allows you to rotate the leg at that point. Finally, the ankle's attached with a classic single-axis peg and can be bent in any direction when manipulated properly. Now, let's take a closer look at the accessories, starting with the batons. As mentioned, they now come in 2 incarnations, static and articulated. The articulated version will do as the name implies at multiple points of articulation along a single axis. Additionally, the tips of the batons can be swapped out for any of their counterparts to suit the needs of your display. The pistols showcase Hot Toys' typical attention to detail with firearms. Details are nice and crisp, and the Taskmaster shield is beautifully rendered both in terms of sculpt and paint. Just look at that weathering. In addition to the fists that come on the figure, we have 8 additional hands, including both of these pairs of gesturing hands, a pair of gun-wielding hands, and a pair of gripping hands for the batons. And finally, here's a close-up look at this very attractive display base with a bright red hourglass and the logo for the Black Widow movie emblazoned upon it. This has been Sideshow's first look at the Black Widow 6-scale figure by Hot Toys from Marvel Studios' Black Widow. Be sure to follow Unsealed and Revealed, Strike a Pose, and How to Be a Poser for even more 6-scale figure shenanigans. If you'd like more info about this figure, follow the link below, and as always, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Did you enjoy that video? Be sure to subscribe by hitting the S icon on your screen and click the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under product info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.